Welcome back to Freedom Fruits. This is actually a follow-up video just to thank everybody who has been there for me down in Real Fruits, on the Freedom Fruits team, friends, personal friends, other friends that have been there for me as well and seen me through a tough time through the whole year. It's just basically a thank you, and I've just written a number of names down just to reiterate that it has been kind of a tough year with one thing and another. I've got her with me now. She's right here, Mr. P's Classic Amusements. I carry her with me on special occasions, and as you saw on the scattering video where I scattered the ashes down in Reculver, and then I done the tribute video as well. Had a little bit of a moment after it. So the video was actually kind of cut short because there was a few things I wanted to say, but like I said, it was a bit of an emotional time for me, and things came flooding back. But I know all you lot will understand out there. Thanks all for watching. Thanks all for subscribing. Thanks all for liking. I hope you're enjoying all the content with the machines and colourful metaphors that I seem to throw out. Yeah, cheers, Mum. You know, it's all your fault. But anyway. It is the 8th of February today, and it would have been my mum's birthday today. She would have been 88 years of age today. I'm actually in here with Nikki at the moment. She's one of the people who I'm going to thank in a minute, along with quite a few others who have been there for me. And yeah, I'm just going to crack on. So first of all, I would just like to thank the Freedom team for starters, which is Tony. Tony's been there for me quite a lot. Tony up, he lives up north, Northern Tony I call him. He's actually been there a lot for me. I would also add into that, he's just lost his dad, and I do actually feel it for him. I will be going up and seeing him at some point soon. I just want to thank him. He's been there quite a lot for me, along with Mark as well. He's been there a lot for me. Mark, you know who you are. I don't need to explain who you are. You are part of the Freedom team, and you've been a good friend of mine for a good few years. I'd also like to thank Chloe, especially for what she's done for the site. Mum actually loved you as well. Most of the Freedom team did actually speak to my mum on the phone. Tony was one of them. She used to like to flirt with Tony. She was a bit of a dirty old bugger, to be honest with you, but that's how you get when you get in your 80s, you like the young fellas, so it's all good. Chloe, Barry as well is another one. Love you, Barry, mate. We've had some good talks and stuff. Craig has also been there for me as well, on a number of occasions, and naturally, who is also part of the Reels team, which is Dave. Naturally, it's the Reels man. He's also part of our Freedom team as well. He doesn't really get involved in it, but he does chuck us a few bits, now and then. But for me, it's more about the arcades. It's more about, the time that I used to bring Mum down, and she loved him. And I'm going to tell you an uncanny story that on the night my mum passed, 30 minutes before she passed away, Dave was speaking to her on the phone and heard her in the back. Also, I heard her in the background. I can't remember if he was speaking to her. I heard her in the background. It's one or the other. And he was driving down a motorway, and all of a sudden he'd broken down. Next minute he's on the phone to me, and Mum had literally stared at me and she'd gone. He was shocked beyond disbelief. We had a little bit of a chat and so on and so forth. Not much because of everything that was going on at the time. So, Dave, thanks very much for being there. I'm going to mention you again in a minute, but we'll get to other people first. Right, first of all, on the Reels team, I just want to say back to Freedom team, thank you very much for all you guys, what you've done for me. You're all good friends. The whole lot of you on the Freedom team. That also includes Gary as well, because Gary was also there for me. I'm going to come to him in a moment too, because he was also part of the Reels team. He might not be now, but we're talking about at the time. Yeah. The first person I'd like to mention is Nikki. Nikki, she literally does keep Maidstone in check. She's an absolute star. She she's had chats with me about mum and that, and you know, it's nice to have good people around that, you know, can, you know, kind of give you some form of console, you know, and you know, see you through a tough time, so to speak, because it is a year. You know, she passed on the 20th of January last year, and I did that tribute video on the 20th of January this year, and today was her birthday. Had a bit of a moment this morning as well, you know how it is. So I just want to say, Nikki, you're fantastic, even though she's just across the way from me now and she's over there looking at me. Sorry, Nikki, didn't mean to embarrass you. She stayed open a little bit for me just to do this, so I really do appreciate it. Also Kev as well, you know, we've had a couple of chats, and I appreciate the kind things that you know, he said to me as well. He's just recently lost his dad as well, so condolences there, and obviously with Tony as well. I'd also like to thank Jack. Jack's been there for me too, and it was nice. Jack's got a very kind of like calming attitude, and he has given me some counsel as well. Gary obviously as well. I had a bit of a moment with Gary, and I'll tell you the truth, I was actually just over here on the left where there was a load of machines. Barcode, if you look at the old videos, Barcode used to be there with the two projects side by side, which I think at the time was The Heat Is On and The Fun on the Run, I think it was, if I remember correctly, or Chico and Fun on the Run. It was two of them anyway. And I think I was playing on Fun on the Run, I think. And Gary actually walked over to me and he said, "Are you okay?" And I've literally turned around and, excuse the language here, I've turned around and said, "You know what, just fuck off and leave me alone." Excuse the French, but that's exactly what I said. And he's gone, "Oh, okay, Jay," you know, and I'm just standing there and I'm going, "You know what, come on, just take me now. Just, I want to go. Just give me a heart attack, I want to go." You know, but obviously Mum's looking down on me, as she still is, thinking, "No, you're not ready yet. You're staying right there." So, bit of a panic attack. You know, it does happen through life when you lose people, and I had to sincerely apologise to him. I felt so bad, and he just turned around, Gary, and he said, "You know what, I understand, it's absolutely fine, don't worry about it." And yeah, he was there for me to give me some form of console as well. Also Kurt as well, I've had chats with Kurt, who works down in Chatham. He's quite a rock for Chatham actually. I like Kurt too. Get on well with him as well, and you know, we've had a couple of chats, you know, about that and numerous other things, but he was there for me too. Oh, you know what, there's two people I'm gonna mention last, which is obviously David Miller, but Laughing Josephine, aka Skinny Dave down in Bognor, love him to bits. Yeah, he always seems to cheer me up. He's got that laugh, and even when I feel pissed off or angry or upset or anything like that, he always seems to turn the tables turns the tables around. And I actually really enjoy seeing him. I've just recently seen him. I'll be going back down to Bognor soon. Hopefully we can go out for a drink sometime, Laughing Joe. But you know, thanks for being there for me too. And naturally, Dave and Amelia, well, really and truly, what is there to say? Dave absolutely adored my mum, even though he only knew her a short space of time, because the elderly's coming in is like old school for him, and Dave's very old school. As you know, he's got a retro arcade, plus another one, plus another one, plus another one, plus another one, and then Fairham coming right behind it. So he's very old school, Dave is, and he's also very customer focused, as well as the other staff is. But Dave's actually, for me, I will say that he is special to me in my heart, because he's been there for me. He's spoken to Mum on the phone. Mum did, like I said, Mum did adore him. She used to love coming in here and play on the Jive Money. You know, the videos floating around on the site somewhere, so you can look at that. And my mum is actually on there, pressing the buttons and doing all sorts. Also, I want to say thanks to Dave. Dave, thank you for being there for me. I will never forget it. Also, Amelia, thanks for being there for me. I'll never forget it. That also goes for the rest of the people that I've already mentioned. Now, Amelia, I will never forget when my mum went on the Friday. I believe it was on the Friday. The following day, we were meant to go down Bognor, and I'd booked a hotel for me and Mum to stay in the hotel overnight in Bognor, because I was going to say, come on, you might as well travel with me, let's go. And she actually passed the night before. When I went down to Bognor the next day, and the story for me is, and this is exactly what happened. I drove down to Bognor. I didn't know where to go or what to do, and I drove down to Bognor, and I got about halfway, and I parked up in the middle of nowhere. I locked my doors, and I left the engine running all night. I know that's not good, you know, people say about emissions and all that. I couldn't care less about it. At the time, I didn't care about nothing, no one, the environment, nothing. And I fell asleep in the back of the vehicle, and I woke up in the morning, my God, didn't I feel awful. I then carried on making my way down to Bognor. Had a bit of breakfast, had a couple of teas and that, and I just walked in, and I'll never forget it. I actually walked up to Amelia, and I've gone, and I've looked at her, and she's looked at me, and I've gone, Amelia, I've lost her. And then everything came out, and I'm like, oh God, I feel like a right two-bob tit here. And we're in the middle of the flipping shop floor, you know, and she's crying and I'm crying. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Even looking back on it now, I actually laugh at it. It's quite funny, really, to be honest with you. Even though it wasn't funny at the time, because obviously I was upset. That upset Amelia as well. Sorry to have upset you, Amelia, but I'm sure Amelia will probably look at this video, or somebody will tell her about it, because I don't think she watches YouTube that much anyway. And obviously understand that it was quite a tough time, and a very, very emotional time as well. Now, I'd like to move on to my personal friends. So thanks to everybody in the Freedom team and the Reels team. I'd also like to thank RF. He's a close friend of mine. In fact, he's been the longest serving friend of mine for 42 years. He doesn't want his name mentioned on YouTube or anywhere, so I'm just going to call him RF. And he has been there for me from day one. In fact, when Mum passed away, he actually came up to the flat, and when I told him, he turned around and he's gone, I'll be there in 1 minute. And he's quite a bit of a fitness freak. He literally ran from his place, which is not far from me. We're about well, for me it's about a 5-minute walk. For him it was about a 60-second run, and he literally ran up the stairs. He did say a few words while Mum was actually lying there. Sorry if this is traumatic for people, but I'm just explaining my experience of what I've gone through. If you feel at any time that it's too traumatic for you, please switch off. But he said a prayer to her while she was lying there. I've given her a kiss as she's gone out the door, and you know, said my farewells and that. Even though it wasn't really a farewell for me, it was just the beginning of the grieving journey. So RF, you know who you are. Thank you very much for being there for me. Mum truly adored you. You know, used to come up and have a couple of drinks and so on and so forth with Mum. Also, Mike and Dion, very close friends of mine as well. I'd like to thank them too for actually being there for me. Dion's actually been a rock, Mike has actually been a rock, and I appreciate what you've done for me and all the advice you've given me on numerous subjects, which I'm not going to curtail off because this is about Mum. But I'd like to thank Dion for being there for me, and Mike from time to time. But Dion has been a friend of mine for, I don't know, 20 years or so. And, you know, she's made a couple of meals for Mum, and she's, you know, spoke to Mum on the phone and whatnot. Mum's even gone over to her place. I've even got pictures on my Facebook of her and my mum and my son and other people. And yeah, Dion, love you to bits. Mike, love you to bits. You know what? Stick together, stay together. You're perfect for each other. That's what Mum would say anyway. I'd also like to thank John A. He is a friend of mine. Used to go to school with him back in the day, secondary school. And he's been there for me. He even let me stay at his place for several days, but I didn't know where to go, so I was in and out, which he just left be. He did give me a key to his house so that I can get in and out. So yeah, thanks to John A. Also to his wife Badana as well, who's also given me great sound advice through the years. Because it's nice to have friends there that can give you some form of counsel, especially if you need it. You know, you can deal with things by yourself, but it's also good to get a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth opinion and so on and so forth. So thanks to you guys. Also to my son as well, Daniel. He was at the funeral as well. My mum went in horse-drawn carriage through London. Did cause a bit of a roadblock actually, but you know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You know, I had to go all out. So son, thanks for being there as well. Really appreciate it. Love you loads. Ian as well. Ian's also been there for me. So Ian, don't need to say too much about you, but you know who you are, and thanks for being there for me too. Daddy F, he's a friend of mine for about 6 years or so. He's actually helped me through the process in the beginning as well, when I needed to sort things out with my mum's flat and so on and so forth. He was there for me. So appreciate everything that he's done for me, even stayed at his place on numerous occasions just so that I could be with somebody, because I felt like I didn't want to be alone. You know, not that I'd do any harm to myself, but you know, sometimes when you're going through grieving, some people like to be on their own, and at times I did, and there's times that I wanted to be with somebody. So I'm just expressing how I feel at the moment. Big Dan as well, you know, love you loads, mate. Fantastic seeing you down here. Hope to see you down here soon. Pete as well. Pete's also given me sound advice on a few things here and there. Pete, you're a very good friend as well. I'll always be there for you, mate. You know who you are anyway. Harvey, yeah, another one, same as Pete, gives me good sound advice. It's always blunt. It's never what I want to hear. And they're always there for me if I need them to be, and naturally that works vice versa. So Harv, I love you too, mate. Skinny Dan, he comes in the arcade. Have good chats with him as well. So he's another friend of mine. Big Darren down in Bognor. Don't really see a lot of him, but I would class him as a friend, because we do actually get on very, very well when we do see each other, and you know, we do keep in contact where we can. So Big Darren, if you're watching this, love you, mate. Also Floyd as well, he put some nice comments on Mum's tribute channel, on Mum's tribute video on the channel, and that was nice of him. So you know, I saw him the other day and I thanked him for that, so thanks a lot for that, Floyd. You take care of yourself, mate. And hold on a second. Oh, Tattoo Steve, he was in here today as well. Like him, a guy with very, very strong character, and is always direct and blunt as well. He's very, very neutral type of person, so it's nice getting advice off of him from time to time if ever you need it. I haven't actually needed any from him, but others have, and he's actually quite a level-headed player of the game of life, so to speak. So there's a few others I'd like to thank as well that have you know, that have been there as well, and given nice comments and so on and so forth. Obviously James Hardy, Just Winter, King Boy, Cashman, Chill Slots, John 180 as well, who is a player in this arcade. He actually lost his mum a few years ago, and I'll never forget when he came in here and he saw my mum. He turned around to me and he said, "Jay, is this your mum?" And I went, "Yeah." I said, "It's not my girlfriend, is it?" He said, "Is it okay if I speak to her?" I said, "Mate, you speak to her if you bloody well want, I don't care." And in the end, he turned around and he said, "Can I share your mum with you?" And I said, "Yeah, why not? I'll take 50%, you have 50%. You know what I mean? If you know, whenever she's in here, you know, if you want to chat, mate, you're more than welcome to." So, you know, John kind of understands where I'm coming from. And you know, the last person who I want to thank actually, who's a very nice person, and that's actually Keisha. Keisha comes in here and she plays on machines. She is a lovely woman. Don't need to go into too much detail about her really. She just keeps herself to herself sometimes, but she likes to have chat with customers, and you know, she's very pleasant to talk to. So you know what, Keish, you take care of yourself. And on a closing note, I just want to say, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll speak to you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed the video, and there you go, one last look. She's right here with us. She's always here with me. You know what? Stay in my pocket, Mum. That's where you belong. Catch you guys later. Love you loads. Ta-ra for now.